Hi everyone, my name is Megan McGovern and today I will be sharing my innovation project with you. The problem that I decided to investigate was how to help students who depend on lip reading adapt to our new normal of wearing masks. Some students rely on lip reading to understand what is going on around them. Reading lips can help students who are deaf or hard of hearing, infants, and English language learners communicate. Lip reading involves decoding the language of a speaker by paying close attention to the movements of the speaker's face and their mouth. For students who are deaf or hard of hearing, lip reading is not normally used by itself. It's a coping skill that's used in conjunction with wearing hearing aids or using assistive listening devices. For infants, seeing the mouth plays an important role in an infant's early sensitivity to speech and prepares them to become speakers between ages 1 and 2. In order to imitate, a baby must learn how to shape their lips in accordance with the sounds that they hear. Seeing the speaker may help them to do this. Newborns imitate adult mouth movements such as sticking out the tongue or opening the mouth, which could be a precursor to further imitation and later language learning. Lip reading is also a helpful strategy for English language learners who are practicing pronunciation and vocabulary. With COVID-19, many states are now requiring individuals to wear a mask. Although wearing masks is important to limit the spread of COVID-19, it poses a problem for individuals who rely on lip reading for communication. The goal of this innovation is to design a product that protects students and teachers against COVID-19 while also allowing students to continue lip reading. A successful innovation will offer visibility for lip reading, as well as safety to protect against COVID-19. As mentioned on the previous slide, this innovation is targeted for teachers who work with students who are deaf or hard of hearing, infants, or English language learners. These students may rely on lip reading for communication. It may also be worn by other students in the classroom if students are required to wear a mask. There are several conditions necessary for a successful product. First, the product must be durable. The face covering will need to withstand heavy daily usage in a school or daycare setting. Additionally, the cost will need to be low enough to produce face coverings for all staff members and potentially students as well. From a safety perspective, the materials used must be breathable while also protecting individuals from spreading the virus. Lastly, the mask must be adjustable or come in different sizes. For example, a larger size for teachers and a smaller size for students. My family members and I worked together to brainstorm some potential solutions and ideas. Essential to our brainstorming was the question of whether the face covering should be disposable or reusable. A disposable mask could be made from plastic, while a reusable mask could be made from cloth or fabric. Regardless of whether the face covering is disposable or reusable, we agreed that it must be safe in terms of protecting ourselves from the virus, as well as for breathing purposes. Ideally, the design should be comfortable because the mask must be worn for an extended period of time. Lastly, the design must be low in cost to produce. After brainstorming, I analyzed the constraints for each option developed during the brainstorming process. A constraint for the disposable mask option is that a larger quantity of masks must be made to fulfill the need. This option is also not as environmentally friendly. A constraint for the reusable option is that the materials selected must be safe to wash so that the mask remains sanitary for continual use. And lastly, a constraint for the face shield is that it may not offer the same level of protection and covering as a face mask does. I then analyzed the three options according to the success criteria of visibility and safety. A successful product must offer visibility for lip reading, as well as safety to protect against COVID-19. Although the face shield offered the best visibility for lip reading, it did not offer the necessary safety protection from spreading the virus. The disposable mask and reusable masks offer similar levels of visibility and safety. Ultimately, I chose to produce a reusable mask because it is practical, environmentally friendly, and cost efficient. I also felt that a fabric mask is more comfortable. Before designing my own face mask for lip reading, I considered how a traditional cloth face mask is made. The main materials include 2 pieces of 100% cotton fabric and elastic for the ear loops. Some face masks also included pleats, filters, or nose cutouts. Next, I made a sketch of my design. For my first sketch, I based the mask dimensions off of a disposable face mask that I had at home. I determined the dimensions of the clear opening by measuring my own lips and mouth as a guide. Then I was ready to make my first prototype. For my first prototype, I used a disposable mask and a clear Ziploc bag. I thought that this would be an inexpensive way to test my idea. The final product will be a reusable mask made of cotton fabric. First, I created a 2-inch by 3.5-inch template to cut a mouth opening in the disposable mask. I then used the same template to create a clear covering from the Ziploc bag. I attached the clear Ziploc bag to the back of the mask using tape. Then I tried on the mask to test my prototype. After making my first prototype, I knew that I needed to make a few adjustments. I used the iterative design process to reflect on my initial design and make improvements. First, I felt that the mask was too small. I need to use more material to fully cover my nose, cheeks, and chin. Since I will be expanding the size of the mask, I also want to make the clear portion larger to optimize lip reading. Lastly, I will be making my second prototype from cotton fabric. Unlike my first prototype, this will allow me to secure the clear portion between the layers of fabric. Doing so will increase the durability and hopefully the comfort of the mask. For my revised sketch, I chose to sketch the layers of the mask separately. There will be 2 identical cotton layers. I increased the dimensions of the cotton layers from my first prototype to fully cover the nose, cheeks, and chin. I also slightly increased the dimensions of the clear opening. I only made a slight adjustment as I felt that the clear opening was appropriately sized in my first prototype. Having the layers will allow me to secure the clear vinyl fabric between the 2 cotton pieces. The elastic ear loops will remain the same. Then I was ready to make my second prototype. For my second prototype, I used 100% cotton fabric from a t-shirt and a clear Ziploc bag. This time I created 2 templates. First, I created a 9-inch by 6-inch template to cut the 2 fabric pieces. Then I created a 2-inch by 4-inch template to cut a mouth opening in the 2 fabric pieces. I used the 2-inch by 4-inch template again to create a clear covering from the Ziploc bag. I attached the clear Ziploc bag in between the 2 layers of fabric. Unfortunately, I've never sewed before, so I used staples in place of thread. I folded the fabric to represent the seams and stapled the pieces together. Then I tried on the mask to test my prototype. The mask fit much better than my first prototype did. The cotton material was more comfortable. I noticed that the Ziploc bag fogged up easily. Ideally, I would want to test the design out with the clear vinyl fabric to ensure that it didn't fog up and reduce visibility. Next, I will discuss the cost of making an individual mask for lip reading. The prices that I found are all from Joann Fabrics. Fabric is typically priced by the yard. For both the cotton fabric and the clear vinyl fabric, I started by calculating how many masks can be made from 1 yard of fabric. Since more cotton fabric is needed per mask, each yard provides enough fabric for about 14 masks. Each yard of clear vinyl fabric produces enough fabric for about 120 masks. I wanted to mention that the dimensions for the yard of clear vinyl fabric was 36 inches by 54 inches, compared to 36 inches by 44 inches for the cotton fabric. After determining the number of masks that could be made from 1 yard of each fabric, I divided the cost per yard by the number of masks that could be made. This gave me an approximate cost of the material needed per mask. The cotton fabric cost about 50 cents per mask, and the clear vinyl fabric cost about 5 cents per mask. Next, I calculated the cost of the elastic for the ear loops. Each mask requires two 7-inch pieces of elastic, or 14 inches per mask. This means that 1 yard provides enough fabric for about 2 masks. I divided the cost of 1 yard of elastic by 2 masks. The cost of elastic per mask is about 50 cents. Other costs to consider include thread, a sewing machine or a sewing needle, scissors, a ruler, pins, and labor. Based on the materials needed, I estimate the cost of each mask to be about $1.05. One of the positives of this design is that it's very cost effective. As I was conducting my research, I was able to find articles discussing this problem of lip reading and wearing masks. However, I was not able to find solutions that were readily available to the public. Even if this type of mask could be easily purchased, it would be more cost effective to make it yourself. Additionally, the design met the 2 criteria for success. It offered visibility for lip reading, as well as safety to protect against COVID-19. As guidelines for safety continue to change, the mask may need to be updated or modified. In the future, I think that it would be beneficial to make additional sizes of the mask, as well as adjustable elastic loops. These changes will help to ensure an appropriate and comfortable fit for all users. Thank you for listening to my innovation project, and I look forward to learning about your projects as well.